we don't talk enough about maintaining or possibility of losing that sense of like your identity when you're going through those phases in life. And I feel like that's what set me off with it into what that phase where I was trying to survive. Well, you're entering into these different roles. Everybody just assumes that you can just get into it and succeed at it. Wife,
Yeah.
mother, all those things. Significant life events, positive, but still life events. And you need support through it. And you need to know that you're not alone. But I think people make it appear that they're just having an easy time. And they don't necessarily speak to the challenges of going through those phases, even if they're good things. And I think to some extent also that relates to that concept of having it all.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of This Queen Says, the podcast where I get the honor to talk to girls who I went to school with. And the school we're talking about is Queen's College, Lagos, Nigeria. And one of the things I really loved about this podcast is that it has given me the opportunity to reconnect with a lot of people that I haven't spoken to in years. And today's guest is one such person. I will allow her introduce herself, but before she gets going, Ife, I've just introduced you. Ife and I were in the same class, but since leaving secondary school, I don't think we've spoken, maybe in passing on a WhatsApp chat. But in terms of face-to-face, sit down, talk about things, we haven't done this. So I'm really excited for that. I have always admired her. Whenever I listen to what she says on WhatsApp, it's always gems. And she's cheeky as well.
Oh.
So if she comes across as being very intelligent, it's because she is. If she comes across as being quite sassy, it is because she is. But let me not do too much of the talking. So, Ife, my first guest, I will allow you to introduce yourself by asking you the first question. We have met at a QCOG reunion. Tell me about yourself in 30 seconds.
All right. Hi. Thank you so much for allowing me to participate in this program. This is amazing and it's such a great opportunity and an honor. My name is Ife Morrison, previously known as Okosonia. I'm a QCOG 1996 set, and my arm was W, go W. After leaving Queen's College, I went to University of Lagos, studied medicine, and then I got into residency in the United States in Brooklyn, New York, finished my internal medicine residency and cardiology fellowship, and moved down to Tennessee to work. So I currently work with Vanderbilt Heart and Vascular Institute, and I live in the Nashville area with my husband and two beautiful girls.
I'm so pleased you mentioned the fact that you went to the US, just in case people are thinking, where's the accent coming from? I knew Ife in school, she didn't have this accent.
No, listen, it comes out sometimes. Just as we go on, no worries.
Yeah. And so when people are teasing you, do they call you Dr. O, Dr. Morrison?
It depends on who. My sisters will call me Dr. Love sometimes. One of them started it, and I'm like, okay.
There's a story though.
Right, because Ife means love. But my actual name, when I ask my parents, it's Ifeoluwa, God's will. But of course, everybody thinks of Ife as love primarily. So one of my sisters just called me Dr. Love. So everybody else will call me Dr. Love. But mostly at work, it's Dr. O.
Dr. Love sounds like a talk show host, you know?
Ah,
Call in with your love stories
oh Lord.
and your dilemmas in your relationships, and Dr. Love will help you out.
Two on the nose. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. All right. So we're both W girls. Taking it back to when we first met, what would the Ife of today say to the Ife who's a JS1 girl just about to start QC?
One of the things I tell my daughters to say to themselves in terms of affirmations is I am powerful, I am strong, I am worthy, I belong, and I can do anything. And I think that's something I would tell my younger self and ask her to say to herself until it becomes a part of her. I saw it in a movie. It was about a child that had albinism and felt like he was out of place in society. And so those were the words he told himself. And I was like, that is powerful. And also to let her know that, you know, change can be hard, but she's coming into a lifelong sisterhood and should have fun with it, make those connections, not just be too serious, because I have a tendency to be serious sometimes.
I do remember you as being serious. Fun, but I do remember you as being serious.
I mean, that's what they typically call ethical. I guess I was hyper focused on just performing because I have older sisters who were high performers, and I was like, I gotta toe the line.
Yeah. I was talking about it with my cousin the other day, and my dad was a doctor. And I know he wanted me to study medicine, and I didn't. So Ife, you would have been the perfect daughter for him. But and he was always like, work hard, do yourself proud. But when I think about it, I wanted to make him proud. So the grades that I got were for him, which is interesting. So I love the affirmations. It's you're powerful,
You're strong,
you're strong,
you are worthy,
you're worthy,
you belong,
you belong.
and you can do anything. And I think that worthy and the belonging, very powerful for my kids here, of course, as brown skinned girls in a MAGA world, so to speak, making space for themselves, understanding that even though there are not too many of you here, you're worthy and you belong right where you are. And sometimes we battle with some of those things internally. We may not necessarily speak about it, but it's something that you can sort of inculcate in younger kids so that that becomes a part of your psyche long term, as opposed to Nigerian way of just not necessarily building those affirmative type things. I think we tend to be on the more negative. Well, you didn't do well, or but
Somebody
you're
always came
not.
first. Do they have two heads?
Exactly, exactly. I always came first in my class. I cannot tell that lie to my child, to be honest, because because they will challenge you because it's children. They're not like that. Because like that, yeah, okay, you keep quiet and say, yes, dad. But here they will tell you back like, oh, what do you mean you were always first? That's not true. I'm sure you came second a couple of times. So, so just being more conscientious about like affirming things as opposed to always saying, oh, you didn't do this right. Because I have a tendency to like, Dara, you didn't make your bed well, and it's every morning. So we're always fighting. But yeah, but those affirming things are important. And that helps build some, I guess, some neural networks in their brain that they can fall back on.
I am struggling to remember where we did have those sessions or just that environment where it was like, you are a beautiful, powerful young girl who will turn into a woman. The only teacher that comes to mind who did make me feel quite proud of myself was home economics, which for me,
Oh,
yeah, I've
yeah.
just thought about it. Yeah, Mrs. Rockbar and
Yeah.
home economics. Yeah.
Oh, I don't recall home economics being one of the ones. I definitely know that Principal Marino was very good at speaking to those things. And the other person that I would say, who was it that came to mind now? It's popped out of my brain. Ah, oh, Mrs. Bickersteth. She was a great role model. She was tough, but the way she carried herself is like, you need to emulate more of that, right? Like, this is a strong woman
Yeah.
who knows her stuff, who is a leader. And that's what we should have been aspiring to.
You're right. You're right. So, talk about aspiring to, jumping forward, what would you say to yourself as a 25-year-old?
So, to give it a little bit of context, at 25, I was done with medical school and I had come to the US to interview for residency. So, it was like in between Nigeria and here. And so the anxiety of, am I going to get into a residency program? You hear all these stories about people who wait years to get into a program. And so the anxiety is there. So I would tell her, Listen, same thing I told my GS1 self as a starting point. Remind yourself that you're powerful, you're strong, you're worthy, you belong, but things are going to work out fine. Don't be scared. You will rise to the challenge. And there will be mountains to climb, always.
Oh, always.
Looking back, you see those mountains before, you're like, the sky's the limit. Sometimes you're so optimistic and naive, and you don't realize that life is going to come at you. Yeah, you better be ready. Things are not always going to go the way you want it to go, but trust God, trust the process.
Did you find that there were lots of people who would call to ask you for advice, or your parents would refer you to people who were in a similar life stage? Because I remember when I was in the UK and my mom would be like, oh yeah, speak to Anita. Anita she knows everything about the UK and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm trying my best in my little corner of,
Right, right. I feel like maybe I got more of that from like medical school colleagues because they're like, wow, how did you do it? You got in so fast. How did you take your exams? What did you tell the people at the interview for the visa? And that visa story is just even one for the history books, at least personally for me, though, because before I actually came here, twice they had denied me visas to come to the US. So the third time, I was like, you know what? I've done my exam because I had to go to Ghana to take the 2 medical license exams. So I'd
Oh,
taken one and
wow.
then did another one. So I did one like halfway through medical school, or yeah, 2/3 of the way through medical school, and then I did the last bit. Then the third part you have to come and do here. So there's no other place you could do it, not Ghana, not anywhere. So when I went for that third visa appointment, I was like, yeah, I had prayed. We did this praying and fasting in church. It was not, that is it to God, nothing else. Just let me find favor. I need to get this thing because if I don't, that's it now. My dreams are cut short. So I met this lady. She was like, okay. And she gave me a 6-month visa. I'm like, yeah, be like, make it 6 months. Just give me sha. Yeah, I was a little bit worried that I didn't have enough time to utilize the visa because I was still doing my housemanship at Lagos University Teaching Hospital. But she told me, listen, you can travel anytime within that period, and whenever you land in the US, they'll give you a stay of about 6 months. Perfect. I can go in, do the exams, do the interviews, and see what gives. And so, funny enough, when I went back home after having a place for residency, they file like a different kind of visa for you. It's called an H1 visa, which is a work visa. When I went back, the guy that interviewed me, he was like, who in the world gave you a visa to go for a medical license exam? That this is what happens when they go, you come back with an H1. And I was like in shock. Then he said he actually proceeded to look in the system to
Are
see
you
who it was.
serious?
I'm telling you. And he was like, oh my gosh, she was new then. Oh, that's why. I was like, God favored me.
Truly,
I'm telling you. I mean,
truly.
this was a new person and she hadn't been embittered by all these types of situations and developed the kind of attitudes the others would have developed. So I'm like, yeah, I went to the right person
That's
and I
God,
did it.
man. That's
I'm telling
God.
you,
That's God.
that's why I said that's one for the history books. So I'm like, so you really mean that you people intentionally say no after someone has said, I had the exam booked, so I need to go. You still tell them no. So even when I went back, when I got the visa, everybody in school was like, wow, how did you do it? Blah, blah, blah. I said, it's God, though. It's God. Because I prayed, I fasted, everything they God hand. So it's just God.
Wow. Wow. The fact that he went in and checked.
He did look. And I was looking at him like, you know how they do? Oh, good for you. You can't deny this one.
Gosh. It makes me think of some situations. I had missed a flight to go to see a friend in Scotland, not too far. And I went up and the first person was like, well, you missed your flight. It was my own fault, really. Kind of, not really. I missed my flight. They were like, well, sorry, you have to buy a new one. I was broke. Had to see my friend.
Right.
I went back. I was like, oh, maybe I can get a train. And then something just told me to just hang on. So I waited and I waited for that guy to, I don't know, go to the toilet, something. Someone else came, it's a woman. I said, just try again. So I went. I said, oh, I missed my flight. This is what happened. And she was like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. And just put me on the next flight. I was like,
Wow. Enemies of progress. I'm telling you, oh God, God just moves away those kinds of people from your life so that you can get to where you need to go.
you've got me thinking about you in school. Did you feel there was a need to establish boundaries, make sure that you were looking after yourself? Because I can't imagine what it must have been like. Medical school, I always think it's really intense and demanding.
You're absolutely right that it is intense. It helps that when you build a core group of people around you who are mutually supported, right? I don't think my family understood how intense it was, so there was no way to necessarily share that with them. But your friends, girlfriends, or one or two male friends that are in medical school with you, that you can turn to, talk through things, that's the way you survive, right? That's one thing. The other thing, I was so focused on just like performing, or maybe I was trying to prove something to myself.
Mm.
I was generally a little bit hard because I felt like maybe I was protecting my own emotions, to be honest. I was a lot harder.
On yourself?
No, on people too. I was protective about the people I kept around me. That's the honest truth. Because some people they had stress and I didn't like it. So before you knew about boundaries, before people started talking about boundaries, I was already setting those boundaries. There are some people that just should not be your friend, right? Or they cannot be your friend. You can be pleasant and acquaintances, co-classmates, but there's just something that doesn't jive with you, all sorts of things, or all those people that have questionable lifestyles.
Yeah.
That's not what I want from me. So I will not associate myself with that. I can be pleasant to you. We can laugh, talk together in like a group, but you're not going to be my buddy. I also was a little bit standoffish to guys just because I was like, I don't have time. And I don't want anybody to come and mess with my emotions and then distract me from what I came to do.
And look at you now.
My
Dr.
dear,
Love.
I mean, listen, there's things I would do a little bit differently, not be so hard, but yeah. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot more to do with religious hang-ups, maybe fear of failing, fear of consequences when you have to handle relationships, and what comes with relationships at those ages. Like your parents instill some fear in you about if you get pregnant, you're going to, those kinds of fears that they instill in you from when you're younger. And my house is full of women, so I have 5 sisters. And there's 6 of us.
Wow.
Yes, there's 6 of us, and I'm number 5. Those people didn't mess up. I don't want to be the first one to mess up. It'd be such a shame.
That pregnancy thing, my dad, being an obstetrician and gynecologist, he knew. So the thing he told me when I was leaving for university, was don't get pregnant while you're in school. It's like, I will send you contraceptives. Obviously, I was mortified. My mother she almost fainted. Like, how could you say these things? But my dad was like, let's be practical, So he was like, just do whatever you need to do, have fun, but just do not get pregnant. And that stayed with me. Yeah.
That's cool that he was that literal. I think most of the time with other parents, it's like they would disown you. They would give you the tools you need to prevent those situations, right? And that's what gets people in trouble, right? Because you don't equip them because you don't want them to be wayward. And then they end up in a situation where, okay, something just happened that they didn't plan for. But we didn't talk about those things when we were younger.
We didn't. I remember even in QC, I'd be like, they're like holding hands, or like he's giving her a hug. Like, even though even though I had read all the Mills and Boons, I quote unquote knew what happened, but I was still like, no, you can't. I remember I had this argument with my mother And I would tell her, it's like, when I was younger, you would like run away from boys. And then at some stage, it switched to run towards boys and get married.
Right now.
Yeah. It was literally like what switched from no to why, where are they?
You're not alone. You're not alone. And your mother was not alone in it too. I guess that's just how they knew to do things.
Yeah. Yeah. Hindsight. Hindsight's
Right.
2020.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my girls though. Not yet. We're getting there, slowly.
I do not envy you. My friend, his girls are going to university, and I said to him, "Are you going to have the talk?" And he's like, "She won't allow me. Every time I try, she's like, la 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 la."
Oh my gosh.
She said, "Dad, this is really embarrassing."
And I think the mistake people make is like they wait for the one talk. I think that the strategy these days is starting to have small, meaningful conversations about sexuality, relationships, just age appropriate as they get older, right? Because by the time, you're having a period, you should know
Know what?
that you're going to get a period. You should know about sex.
Ah,
By the time you're getting a period, to be honest now, you should know that this is okay. This is why I'm bleeding. This is what happens with grown-ups. They shouldn't be shy about it because things happen. There are 12-year-olds and 14-year-olds are getting pregnant.
yeah.
There's no
Does.
excuse. And then people do inappropriate things with children. So you want to be able to tell them, okay, this type of touching is okay, but this type is not okay. So those are like small conversations that are around it. But if you wait to have the big talk and they're too old and they don't want to hear you, that's it. They will have learned it from other people. And maybe not necessarily the way you want them to learn it.
True. It's a very good conversation to have, actually. And even just think about the framework and having small conversations. Breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs.
Right, little things. No, you can't throw it on them. In fact, I had this book that I bought, and my daughter decided to take it to school. It was age appropriate, but there's a picture of a man and a woman, like cartoon picture of a man and a woman under the covers in a bed. But there were other things. So the one girl told her mom, "Oh, Dara brought this book to school, and it had this in it." And it almost seemed as if she was bringing something horrible to school. I'm like, no, this is the book I gave to her. And she decided to take it to school because she was reading about it, which I'm glad she was, because you learn about boy parts, girl parts, different little things, how babies come about. So the mom was a little freaking out, but she knew me. She texted me and she was like, "Oh, what kind of book was that?" I sent her the link. The daughter saw just one page. I'm just telling her because I think she talks to her daughter quite a bit. And tells me that I was telling her everything. I was like, please, this is the book. Go and look at it yourself. It's not pornographic by any means.
But I applaud you. I mean, the concept too of having these conversations and building that trust so that your girls can come to you and come to you first, hopefully, and not go somewhere else. Because, like you say, you don't know what the conversations are externally, how they're being told, what impression is being left. Our girls. Our girls.
Yeah. And I hope parents of boys are doing a good job too. Not another conversation, but
it's a whole other conversation. Saga, chapter, era, I don't know. It's huge.
Right.
So, jumping forward 10 years, 35. What would Ife say to her 35-year-old self?
So at 35, I had just got married. From a Nigerian standpoint, from a cultural standpoint, it's on the later side,
Yeah.
But you're like, okay, well, you've made it. You're fine. The thing you were worried about, you've gotten, right? So you're onto a new phase of life. I want to emphasize to myself that you're still becoming. Who you are right now is still in transition. So embrace the transition. And also there'll be challenges. And I don't know why I'm focusing on challenges, because I feel like I have had to go through some things. So there'll be battles and obstacles to overcome, And don't let those things define you or make you feel shame. Because sometimes we're ashamed that we go through things because we feel maybe that it's our fault or it's the decision that we made. How could I have done that? So we are hard on ourselves about it. And like, don't be hard on yourself. Trust the process. Let it refine you, not necessarily define you.
I love that.
Let it make you better because you are still becoming.
So you're speaking about the transition.
Mhm.
So transition, is that from being on your own to being a married woman
Mhm.
and everything that entails? Because I remember when I woke up the morning after my wedding and I woke up in a panic and I was like, what do I do now? Like, I'm
Mm.
someone's wife. Am I supposed to, do I draw his bath? Do I bring out his clothes? Like, what do I
Oh,
do?
ah, well,
So when you said the transition, what do you mean?
you're just living with another person in your space. And that can be tough because, at 35, you want things a certain way. And then this whole other person is in your space and you're just like, oh, okay, you love this person, but, some of these things that you're doing are really grating on my nerves. So you're learning to live with it, learning to adjust,
I know
you
exactly
know?
what, yep, 100%.
Yeah.
And what you said about the challenges and how you should make sure it refines you and not defines you. Do
Mhm.
you feel like the challenges you went through at the time defined you for a while?
Yes, I would say completely yes. Because I had some issues at work that they made me question myself and doubt myself and shrunk myself.
Hmm.
And I'm getting out of that now. And it's just a series of things. So that work stuff, and then that stayed on for a while. And then COVID came in and added another layer of stress to it. So after COVID, it was just more like, okay, now let me figure out a way to get out of this rut that I'm in because I've put myself in a weird place.
Is that because you didn't want to offend anyone, or you just genuinely felt like you weren't sure of if you were to do this, how this person would take it?
I just didn't have the capacity to handle everything that was coming at me. So I
Okay.
just did what I needed to do. And I didn't necessarily look to necessarily grow. So when I say there were challenges, and that's on top of the different things that you still have to do as a woman. Of course, within this space, I had two children, and there's an impact that that has on you as well because you're transitioning from just being a wife, now you're now a mother. You're having to make decisions for this human being in your life, which is a great joy, right? And I'm dealing with challenges at work. And then, of course, my mom passed away as well during that time. So it was just a whole bunch of things. And maybe I was just trying to just stay afloat. That's what I would say. Just staying afloat and not necessarily swimming in any particular direction.
It makes me think about what you said about boundaries
Hmm.
and that you were trying to establish these boundaries to make sure you were protecting yourself.
Right, right. Yeah, I think it was just in a self-preservation mode
Yeah.
because I think emotionally I just wasn't necessarily feeling strong.
Mm.
And I think all I
Mm.
could do was just take the next step, take the next step. Work is imperfect. Yes, it'll get better. I wasn't working with Vanderbilt at that time. I was working with a, a private physician and then transitioned to to a hospital-based practice, which was then bought
Mm.
by Vanderbilt. But so all those transitions, things were not as rosy as I would have liked it to be. And so, because when you come out of training, you're like, yes, I'm a cardiologist now. The sky's the limit. Yeah, and you just hit this brick wall. And it's like, oh, wasn't expecting this. Really, you're just like, you're not
Yeah.
expecting this. You thought things would be, I've gone through all these residency and fellowship challenges. I've made it through. So right now it's time to just go and excel and make some money, flourish. And then you feel like the brakes just got hit hard. And you're like, okay,
Mm.
yeah. And then in the middle of all of that at work, you're just dealing with, okay, life. It's like, this is a lot. Yeah, so you just like do what you need to do and or don't overextend yourself because you didn't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah, I love that. Ah, yeah, I was talking to my cousin to me, and we're talking about sometimes you just need to take a step back to say, this is all I need right now. And tomorrow I may need something else completely different. There's nothing wrong in constantly reevaluating and stating, I need something different without it taking away from who you were yesterday or who you'll be
Mm.
tomorrow.
I heard Michelle Obama say something to that effect too, that you can have it all, but not necessarily all at the same time.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And be happy with it. Be happy with that fact.
So, what would the Ife of today, or what is Ife of today telling herself?
Um, it's time to flourish.
Oh,
Yes. And take bold steps. Right. Because I just finished a master's degree.
congratulations.
Yes. Oh God, it was a lot. But yeah, I just finished a master's degree and it has to do with like management and healthcare. So I feel like that has helped me build some confidence. And I need to keep taking those bold steps towards leadership. I've always kind of run away from it because I'm like, it's too much stress. I think, let me just do the work that I came to do. Leading people can be challenging. If everybody runs away from it or the wrong people are in the positions of leadership, then how are you going to be impactful in making change? So that's what I'm telling myself now is flourish, take bold steps, don't don't stay in that box that you created for yourself anymore. You're out of there, don't go back in.
So, what changed?
What changed? It's just been a long process and I'm not really sure that something changed dramatically. However, I did do some counseling and I had a leadership coach during this course. So that helped me gain some more perspective. I think the counseling was key, to be honest, because it just gives you those tools to handle where you're at, where you want to be, and understanding yourself better.
I'm a massive fan of counselling.
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of counselling. And as much as I try to encourage other people to do it, I realize that people will only get to it when they are ready.
Oh, you can't do it until you feel like you really have to. And some people are just very averse to it just because they feel like maybe it's a weakness. It's not necessarily. Sometimes you need a professional to tell you this is how to look at things. This is how to create more joy in your life.
And the reason why I'm smiling, create more joy in your life. I'm all for that. So, Ife, what would you say to your 65-year-old self?
So that's a really good question. When I thought about it, I want to be able to say to my 65-year-old self, well done. And there's still more you can do. Even though you're at technically retirement age here in America, don't don't stop.
Don't stop. Don't stop doing what?
Just having impact. Sometimes you feel like, oh yeah, I retired, so I don't have to do anything. We still have life in us. And I've seen people who just retire and end up doing nothing with themselves,
Yeah.
and those are the people that end up dwindling health-wise very rapidly. And who says 65 is it, right? It's just an arbitrary time point.
My dad, bless him, up until he passed away, he was still going to work, going to his clinic.
Yeah.
And even though he wasn't seeing patients or anything, for me, it was a hobby. An expensive hobby because he still had overheads and stuff and what have you. But I realized that if he didn't do that, what would he do? It gave him a reason to get up and go somewhere and dress up and talk to people. So I hear you. I hear you when you say when people stop, you just stop.
That's not the plan.
Not the plan. Not the
Yeah.
plan.
Hopefully we're able to get to that age of good health and enough to do those things, travel, still have impact on people's lives, not just like family, but outside of family too.
Gosh, when I hear you say impact, it makes me think you have big dreams.
I hope so. And they're not very clear right now, but I'm hoping that there's something there that I'm doing. We have these huge dreams for ourselves, but ultimately we got to trust God in the process and say, I know that his plan for me is what is ideal. I may not necessarily see clearly where I want to be, but or I may not understand what impact I might be having on people right now too. Because sometimes you're like, oh, okay, I'm not really doing much. I'm just seeing patients, but they will come back and say, oh God, you saved my life. It doesn't feel like a big deal to you because
Huh.
it's just everyday routine.
Yeah.
But they see that huge impact in the fact that they're still there. They still have their spouse there, or they're able to go to some wedding, to their child's wedding, those kinds of things. So
Mm.
I guess I minimize. I'm a minimizer. I'm not one of those people that like over exaggerate my impact or what I think I'm doing. It may not necessarily be a good thing, but I just see that trend in myself.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Being a doctor, actually, you must come across different women in different spheres, different phases, different life events, and you have many sisters. What are the things you wish women spoke about more?
We don't talk enough about maintaining or possibility of losing that sense of like your identity when you're going through those phases in life. And I feel like that's what set me off with it into like that phase where I was trying to survive, where you're entering into these different roles. Everybody just assumes that you can just get into it and succeed at it. Wife,
Yeah.
mother, all those things. Significant life events, positive, but still life events. And you need support through it. And you need to know that you're not alone. But I think people make it appear that they're just having an easy time. And they don't necessarily speak to the challenges of going through those phases, even if they're good things. I think to some extent also that relates to that concept of having it all
Yeah. Yeah.
and not necessarily talking about, yeah, you may be able to have it all, or maybe not necessarily all at the same time. And that comes with its challenges too. We all try to paint this rosy picture, especially in this day and age where things are posted on Instagram, Snapchat, whatnot, or TikTok, and you're just seeing the upside of things. And then you feel like, okay, am I the only one having the downside of stuff? Everybody is. Being open and vulnerable enough to speak to those things without feeling like you're diminishing yourself.
100% agree. It's part of why I started this. I was talking to some women who had graduated in the 80s, and as they were talking, I was like, oh, I wish you were my older sister. I was like, there were so many things I could have just asked you instead of trying to figure it out on my own.
Yeah. It can be challenging in our culture too, because they always want you to just not speak of certain things or don't make it look as if it's hard. So you want to be that picture of a strong woman. It's not easy.
Not easy. One of the earlier episodes, I was talking to Ian Gatubong, Elizabeth or Archie, and she was saying how she hates being called strong. That for her it denotes being told you have to carry more than you should. So she rejects it. She's like, don't call me strong.
You know what comes to mind? This movie Encanto, because there's a character there who's the strong one. And she sings a song about being strong and being the one that everybody's relying on. And she's talking about this pressure. There's too much pressure. And there's a pressure that comes with always being strong. And
okay, right. So this is the last bit. It's called rapid fire. We haven't seen these questions before. You can relax.
Okay.
It's literally just the first thing that comes to your mind.
All right.
Okay? Right. Question 1. What is the best compliment you have ever received?
Ooh, I think you're so beautiful.
I love that.
I get that a lot, like here, even at work. Not a lot, but when I do get it, it surprises me because I go to work and I'm like, no makeup, nothing, because I'm like, I don't have time for that. Ever since COVID, I'll just be like, please, it's too much wahala for all this makeup. Some days I will try, but most days I'm like, no face, please. When they say it, I'm like, wow, okay. That makes me feel good.
Yes, 100%. You're so beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
And maybe there's something about your aura, because sometimes you can step into a room and people just take notice of you because you carry something.
Perhaps that.
I hope you haven't minimized that compliment.
I don't minimize the compliment. We all have our good days and bad days. You look in the mirror like, ugh, why do I have this or why do I have that? Or sometimes, well, to be honest, sometimes I'm thinking, what are these people thinking? I don't have any makeup on. what is wrong with that? What are they seeing? On a good day, I'm like, oh, thank you. Like if your mind is in a good
Yeah.
space, you're like able to receive the compliment as it is.
I should try to be more humble. I was listening to an interview with Basoma St. John. When she gets compliments, depending on what they are, she's like, yeah, I know. Oh, you look really good. And she's like, yeah, I know. I picked this outfit. I bought the outfit. I
Right.
bought it and I put it on because I knew it would make me look good.
Uh,
And so I say that sometimes, and people generally don't know what to do. They're like, oh, you look good. I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're like,
uh,
oh, yeah,
it takes them a split second because they're like, this person being proud or something.
exactly.
No, just listen, own it. It's not bad, not a bad idea.
Oh, yeah, exactly. All right. Rapid fire. Question number 2. Where do you do your best thinking?
Ooh, that's a good one. Her early morning in my closet. I have a decent size one, like enough space to sit, nobody around. Early in the morning, no demand on me. Yeah.
Rapid question number 3. I should stop numbering them because I'm going to forget what number I get to.
Next one.
Next one. Next rapid fire question. What is the last thing you do at night?
Oh gosh, I'm terrible about my nighttime routine. I'm like falling asleep to TV, so that's terrible. I have lofty goals of like journaling, like doing a gratitude journal every night, but oof, so nighttime you just see me crash in front of the TV.
And the last question. What is your favorite quote? Or is there something you find yourself saying a lot?
Something I find myself saying a lot. I think it'll be what I tell my daughters to say to themselves. We talked about it
You
earlier.
did.
I am powerful, I am strong, I am worthy, I belong. I think that resonates with me a lot, especially if you're like struggling with, okay, I can't do this. You have to tell yourself you have what it takes to do what you're doing.
Because we do. Deep down somewhere, we
We
do.
do, we do. There's the doubt creeping and imposter syndrome creeping, and you're like,
That imposter syndrome. I feel like that's a whole,
yeah,
I don't
it's the
know,
whole, yeah.
yeah, encyclopedia on that topic.
I don't know why men don't have it. Is it like an estrogen-based thing? So annoying.
When I'll do my annual appraisals, and there's always a bit where you had to fill it in. And my manager at the time, Nina, always used to say, you put yourself down, you're so much better than you think you are. I'm going, oh, no, 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 I don't think I am. Until she was like, what would a man write about themselves? Someone at work I thought of, and I was like, yes. If this person was completing their review, what would he say about himself? And the words just flowed. In fact, the words were just, I did this, I am amazing, I completed this, I achieved that. It was so much easier adopting that mentality of a man, which, as I say it out loud, seems very strange. But it
I
worked.
think, is it the way we're socialized? It's probably not necessarily estrogen. It's not nature per se. I think it's nurture, how we grew up, and also that African bit too. We're taught not to be like proud. Kuyeko Bagweraga. Translation: don't be proud.
The gisting
But you
sessions
have
the
to
older
be.
aunties would have about, look at the way she was carrying herself. Who does she think she is? You're like,
Let's give people space to own what they have. Don't be jealous. We should celebrate each other, right?
agree.
That's what I love about our little W girls group chat. Nobody's competing or looking down. Well, if they're doing it in private, that's for their own pocket. But but I think in general, I think everybody's pretty cool about celebrating each other's wins.
And that's a lovely way to end our discussion. So, Fair, my darling, thank you so much once again for this. Like I said, it means so much to me that I literally just called you out of the blue and you were like, yeah, done for sure. And maybe that's part of W girl culture where we celebrate each other
Yeah.
and we're there for each other. So much appreciated. I loved Ife's affirmation to her daughters. We are powerful. We are worthy. We do belong. And we really can do anything. They remind me that I'm ready to step outside my comfort zone, a necessary step for the growth I know I need to take. I'd love to know your thoughts as well. And if you would also like to be a guest on this podcast, please do send me an email at thisqueensays@gmail.com or reach me via Instagram at thisqueensays. Until next time, thank you and bye.